Welcome to the Scale Model Podcast. In this podcast, we aim to entertain, inform, and promote the hobby of scale model kit building with interviews, reviews, and news about the hobby. The Scale Model Podcast is currently recorded bi-weekly and is available where your favorite podcasts are found, including iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher, as well as our website at www.scalemodelpodcast.com. Let us know if you have any comments or suggestions at scalemodelpodcast@gmail.com or at our Facebook page at facebook.com/scalemodelpodcast. We also publish extra video content on our YouTube channel, and we also have a Patreon page at patreon.com/scalemodelpodcast. The money raised will be used to help offset web hosting and other costs. As the podcast grows, we hope to introduce giveaway and other bonuses to our Patreon supporters as a thank you for supporting the Scale Model Podcast. Welcome to episode 18 of the Scale Model Podcast, sponsored by Goodman Models. And this week we are 300 meters below the world headquarters of Goodman Models in Anthony Goodman's own super secret workshop. I can't tell you the amount of things that are covered up with weird things sticking out of them, but at least hopefully I'll make it out alive. How are you tonight, Anthony?
I'm wonderful, Stuart. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. You've given me a cup of tea. We're actually in Anthony's basement. We're doing this on the road because we're working on some exciting news for Goodman Models.
Yes.
Coming soon. The website's coming along.
Yes, the website is underway. Thank you to Stuart, who's helping me get that all together, and I'm very excited.
Exactly. Soon you'll be able to. There's just a basic splash page right now at goodmanmodels.com, but you can check that out, bookmark it, and make sure start saving your pennies.
It's alive.
And get your wallets ready. All right, let's move right into our latest news. We've got a ton of news again this week.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Post show, but some other big shows coming up soon. So all sorts of stuff happening. So if you do hear some squeaks and that's just some of the lab rats and the lab techs working on some things.
Somebody's got to build my models.
Someone's got to build them. Well, it's all this other technology. I keep seeing, never mind the lab cat may show up, sooner
got a couple of those.
Okay, so let's kick things right off with our good friends at Revell Germany. They got several releases, and as usual, wide range of stuff from our friends at Revell Germany. We're going to start off with the German submarine, the Type 7 C41. Big kit, 1/72nd scale, 832 parts.
Oh my goodness.
Almost a meter in length. These things are big, but people love them.
Yes, people love them.
139 euros. This was actually the most frequently built class in history. One thing that's unique about this one is, and I remember reading a book about this, they used to call the top end of the conning tower the Winter Garden, because you had basically a bunch of guns, a mobile snorkel mast, radar, you name it, they had it. So this thing comes with a lot of photo etch, a 2-centimeter flat cannon on a rotating carriage, a 3.7 centimeter cannon, even some yarn. And if you look at some of the screenshots, which we're going to include in the show notes, has a wooden deck. Look at some of the detail on that photo etch of the radar, the guns, and
that looks awesome.
Yeah, how to drive people with poor eyesight like me nuts. But I know the sub guys I've seen some examples at the shows of some of the Revell work, and it's pretty amazing, especially when some of these guys will like scratch build the internal stuff.
Yeah, I've seen some beautiful subs in the past couple years that come to mind, actually, jumping out. Really beautiful stuff.
Really cool. Decals for quite a few, looks like about 7 or 8 different U-boat models. So that's going to be coming out fairly soon. Okay, next up is a truck, 1/24 scale. The Bussing 8000 S13. As I said, 1/24 scale. Long distance truck. This was built by the Federal West Germany, basically Federal Republic of Germany.
This is the post-war. Very common during that time. Was built from 1952 onwards. Had a 6-cylinder diesel engine, and these were quite common apparently. Again, nice looking detail on the engine there. What we see of the shots. Multi-part engine, movable front wheels. Flaps can be open on both sides of the bonnet. Removable tarpaulins, some fine detailed chrome parts, and a single set of
of decals. Moving on, more modern era, the Ford F-150 Raptor in 125th. This is Ford's. This is what happens if you take a pickup truck and you basically put in a race engine into it and like detail it all up. I really wonder sometimes how many of these actually see dirt.
I've never seen this truck before. That's
Oh, yeah,
funny.
no, these are actually 450 horsepower engine. Uses the technology as you find in the Ford GT sports car.
Ah, okay.
Oh, yeah, no, these things are...
Probably
these
moves
things are-
pretty well.
Yeah, it is designed for off-road use. I do joke, but, there are these souped-up trucks people have made over the years, and
Yeah.
they never see a bit of dirt in their lives. So, yeah, this is actually a snap-together. They call it a plug-in kit, but it's
Yeah.
a snap-together, so great for younger modelers,
Yeah.
especially because this is something they will see on the roads. So this is, again,
Yeah.
this is what people want to see. So it's kind of cool. They have some different. You don't have to paint it. Again, the chassis comes already in a nice red, but they do give some instructions for some suggestions for colors and
It
stuff.
looks pretty
like
good.
that.
The sort of put together stock.
Yeah, it looks a very attractive kit. I know I wouldn't mind the real one. I don't know how much the gas mileage would be, but there you go.
I don't know.
All right, moving on back to Germany for the 135th scale. This is the Wolf. This is the Germans' kind of their version of the Jeep, basically, or it's an off-road truck.
Like the light
Yeah,
Recon style.
Yeah, it's like a Jeep or a
Transmo.
Land Rover or something like that. Very, very popular, full interior. I think this is a reissue. I just don't remember from who. It just for some reason this looks familiar, but again, very attractive looking. They're calling it 116 parts, about 12 centimeters long, and you're going to be able to get that for 20 euros.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Yeah. Now this
little
next one, this
simplistic.
is really cool. I've been looking at this a couple of times. This is the Airbus 380, and it's part of their Technique line. So this is a 1:144 scale of the double-decker airline, which is very big, and we've seen all over the world. 163 parts, 504 millimeters in length. So that's half a meter.
Wow.
And a wingspan's the same. It's pretty big, 129 euros.
That's
But
cool.
the unique thing about this is this comes with LEDs, some lights, some all sorts of special effects. So yeah, this comes with the LED kit, convenient plug-in connections, LED for position lights, landing lights, cabin lighting, plus sound.
Yeah, that's cool.
With the realistic engine noise and that. So, some old stalwarts out there are probably saying this, oh, it's a toy. No, it's kind of neat. It takes a merger of the technology, and again, it's what the younger modelers like. And
I love the animation of stuff.
Yeah. I look at the model railroad world. Look
Yeah.
at the engines now with the LEDs, the sound kits.
Well, that's been around forever, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
So it's not a crazy departure.
No.
I've lit every kit for the past. With the exception of my armor kit, I've lit every kit.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm just trying to ramp it up.
Yeah, so yeah, this is kind of cool. It takes the little built-in battery box. Kind of reminds me of some of the earlier. I remember being a kid in the 70s, and do you remember, or did you ever hear about the Revell? Revell did a model of the Goodyear blimp.
Oh, yeah.
And it had a little thing where you could make your own letters for the sign, the rotating, the little
And it spun
LED
around?
lights billboard, and it put it all in. It kind of,
Yeah, that's
it's the sort
awesome.
of thing like that. So yeah, so you only get an Airbus design livery, but I'm sure you could find decals out there for whatever airline you want.
It was shipped out to different
Oh, this
airlines?
is one of the biggest planes in the world now. Yeah, they just stopped production on them recently. They're slowing it down. This is a full-on commercial airliner. Quite a few of the carriers use it, particularly the Middle East carriers and the Far East.
Okay, so
Yeah.
they're around. Yeah,
Oh,
it is
yeah.
really cool.
Yeah,
It's
it's a
beautiful-
monster plane.
Yeah.
They're going to stop building. The problem is they had to modify. For example, you had to have the sky ramp that connects to the terminal. You'd
Everything was
obviously
custom.
have to modify your airport
Yeah.
gates to accommodate this beast. Yeah, it's very big. So yeah, but yeah, that's more of a story for the airline industry podcast, and we'll leave it to them. Moving on, the 2014 Corvette Stingray, 1/25th scale, 38 parts, 24 euros. Here in a very attractive yellow. Fairly simple kit, they say. 466 horsepower engine.
Wow.
And they're calling it the Stingray. That's after more than 30 years. I didn't realize that. It's been a while. Again, this is their easy click system. Again, designed for kids. They have stickers, actually. No painting necessary again, so you can customize it the way you want. Again, 5 colors included, so great. They're recommending for modelers from 10 years and on. So
You really need this kind of snap fit and a lot of it if you want to.
well, look at all of the years the car guys. Yeah, but
as a producer,
it's nice
though,
having the new models.
yeah, making, selling units and making kits that are going to sell and for kids or beginners
Yep.
of whatever age, right? Like you need that kind of thing.
Well,
right?
and it's nice when you see, granted, we all love cars from the 50s and the 60s, but it's like in Model Railroad, the kids want to see what they see out on the roads.
Yeah, you
They
gotta
want to see the modern
appeal
stuff.
to all the eras.
So that's kind of cool as well. Okay, and then we're also finishing up with the USS Enterprise from the original TV series. This is at 1/600. This is another one of their Scalex,
your Technic,
Technic kit.
your-
So this is the original Constitution class, electronic plug connector. So you got the saucer section, secondary fuselage, the engine, Bassar collectors, and the sound. Yeah. So
I wonder
yeah,
how this kit is. Like it,
fit wise, it looks good from what we see. But again,
the panel lines kind of look a little odd
yeah,
to
the
me.
panel lines look kind of
Little
big. And
thick,
again,
eh?
I'm sure there's 20,000 purists out there that are screaming
Oh, I know.
now and,
Yeah.
and all that. It's kind of expensive. It's big though.
600, yeah.
481 millimeters in length, so almost half
Well,
a
that's
meter.
sort of like the really serious kit.
Yeah.
The Polar Lights
Yeah,
one was
yeah, but a good
1 to
display.
350 scale.
150 euros.
Yeah,
So
and that was a really big.
yeah,
this
so
is
so
interesting.
again, this looks good. Nice display. So again, this is the sort of thing I could see like on an office table or something. Because it's a nice little centerpiece. So
yeah, that's gonna turn out to be a fairly
yeah,
big
it'll
kit.
be interesting to see where that goes and where they go with this line. So, okay, that's from Revell. Now we're moving on to our friends at Italeri. So this is their May preview. They've got 8 different kits coming out. So we're starting off with the 1/48 scale P40E or K model, 29 euros. So this is one of the most famous aircraft, particularly in the Far East during the Second World War. Again, good basic warhorse, had an Allison V12 engine. This one has six versions, decals for 6 versions, including our Royal Australian Air Force, RAF, Royal Canadian, and U.S. Air Force markings.
Excellent.
So you got a good wide range of markings. So
and a
again,
bunch of theaters. Yeah.
yeah, I haven't built a 48 scale Italeri, so again, it'll be interesting to see what that's like. But
I've never built an Italeri kit at all.
Oh,
I do own one.
I built a few.
I do have the Herc.
Yeah, okay, there you go. So that was pretty good. And then also we have the Mercedes-Benz, the famous 300 SL Gullwing. This is a very famous,
Yeah, that's
unique
cool.
car that Mercedes built, all in silver. So again, it was basically designed to be that color. 1954.
Cool. Yeah.
The SL stood for Sport Light, and it was Adaptive Innovation Solutions for the time. Tubular chassis, could reach a top speed of 260 kilometers an hour.
Wow. It's impressive.
The only problem with Gullwings is you don't want to park them in a tight parking lot because you can never get the damn doors open, right? You would think. But again, fairly attractive looking kit for fans of this car. Mm-hmm. Looks like it's going to be a nice build. Did I mention the price? 63 euros, 1/16 scale. So that's a
it's
good
huge.
size.
Yeah.
That's a good size. So.
That's pretty hefty for a car kit, but then you mentioned a
But
scale.
that's a good size, and that's known through the world as the Gullwing, seagull wings, for the way it looked, and that's the built-up one they have there.
It looks awesome.
That would be awesome. I know our friends at On the Bench were talking about it. Yeah, that would be a challenge to make sure you get a good smooth coat of silver down.
Well, that's part of the fun of it, right?
That would be.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. We have the again something maybe for the cross licensing from World of Tanks, the Easy Build. This is a 1/72nd scale T-34 Model 85. So again, this is another advantage of the basic idea of cross licensing. So you basically have an in-game bonus codes for the World of Tank game. Looking at the box art, it's very animated, not many parts.
Yeah, it's sort of it's a whole different approach.
Yeah, it looks like about 12 or 13 parts, if that. But again, good simple build. It's almost wargaming size. So again, I think they're trying to appeal to a different sort of modeler here. Again, these aren't if you look, the wheels and the tracks are in one piece.
Molded one piece.
Yeah. But
yeah,
again,
you're right, about 13. Yeah, 2 sets, the tracks, the hull, a couple like
But you
fuel
know what? You
tanks.
get a nice little base.
Yeah.
That's not too bad. But again, for some people, that's all they need. It's only, what was it, €9 I saw?
Yeah.
Trying
Trying to bring people in, you got to start this way because I think we've been doing it for so long that
we forget.
it doesn't phase you when you say I've been working on the same kit for a year,
Exactly.
or I've spent $1,000 like.
And for some
like
people,
our
are friends video
aircraft
game. If they get interested in building this, they might go on from there.
Yeah,
So,
but you gotta feel some satisfaction. That is my comment about the Snap Fit kits. Is that you need to be able to build it and see something done if it's going to pique your interest to expand, right?
And it's also an easy assemble one. There's no glue required.
Boom.
They've also got a Sherman from the same line. So I guess the bonus is you get 3 days of a premium account, a large repair kit, automatic fire extinguisher, some more fuel, and an invite. So it helps you be a better player temporarily. I like all the little hull markings on the Sherman.
Yeah, that's a really good little decal sheet there.
Yeah, so nothing wrong with that. Okay, then we have the F-18 Hornet in 1/72nd scale, Swiss Air Force. Oh, and also the Royal Australian Air Force. How interesting. So again, it seems like just like Tigers, everyone seems to build F-18 kits. You're not a model company, I guess, until you built a Tiger and an F-18 kit. But it looks nice. You got the nice one in the Swiss Air Force, some nice decal schemes. The Royal Australian Air Force is there. So yeah, it looks pretty nice as well for someone wanting to try it. And this one, €18 isn't bad.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
That's a very nice one. Moving on, we then have the German Leopard 2A6 tank.
Yeah, so cool.
Yep, very nice. 1970. This is 4 versions in Finnish, German, Portuguese, and Netherlands service. I believe as well we bought the Canadians, again, speaking of buying things, we bought some for Afghanistan. But again, yep, very attractive looking. What did I say? 135, €37. But again, that's a big tank. So they're going to get a lot of parts there. Looks good. Good spruce selection. Rubber tracks though, so some people may not like that, but there you go.
If they've been engineered like recently and it's current, I would expect that they'd be pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to have to worry too much.
Yeah, I know you associate the old days, the dark days of modeling when the rubber tracks were just terrible.
I wonder if that Australian F-18. I wonder if that one there they had the decal scheme in that for. I wonder if it's one of the ones that's coming over to Canada, because if so, they have to take off the Shuru.
Yeah, they're just getting rid of those altogether.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to talk about that in a little minute. There's a bit of controversy going on there with those Australian F-18s coming to Canada, but we'll actually talk about that in a little bit. Okay, last but not least from them is the version of the AV-8 Harrier, 1/72nd scale, €18, so cool. Used by the Royal Air Force, the Royal Navy. The Marines were built under license, and also the the Royal Thai Air Force, and the Spanish Navy. I didn't realize that Thailand used them.
Wow, cool.
So yeah, a bunch of very attractive schemes. Yeah, the Thai version looks very, very attractive.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I haven't built. I think the last Harrier I built was like a Matchbox one, a Sea Harrier.
Oh yeah.
So that's going way back.
Challenging?
It had fit issues. I've actually got the 48 scale Tamiya, which everyone balks at. I think I got that at a show last year, so we'll see how bad that is.
I love the Harrier. That's something I'd like to do sometime.
Okay, moving on. I found this on hyperscale.com, which is again another great website. A company called Sword. They've been starting to produce some stuff. This is their preview image of 4 kits.
Interesting.
So yeah, we start off with, they do a lot of Japanese stuff. So the KI-102 in 72nd scale, 2 versions of the aircraft, 3 different markings. Also the one that would shoot a pilotless rocket. So K-102 Randy and IGO rocket. So the screenshot looks like a cruise missile. It's launching. Again, I'm afraid I don't know a lot about these.
I haven't seen this before.
Yeah, that's kind of neat. I hadn't seen that. I didn't know that.
It almost looks like a 46 style.
Sort of thing you'd see. Yeah, doesn't it? And then they're coming out with their version of the 84W AEW1 Skyraider. So this Skyraider had this was post-war. It actually had radar inside. It was an electronic warfare aircraft.
Ah, okay. Hence the big pods and things.
So it looks like it has Fleet Air Arm and U.S. Navy. Mm-hmm. So that looks pretty neat. And then also an executive aircraft, the SU-125 Special Edition. Looks like a Learjet. Again, I don't know much more about it, but it looks like it's got some stuff under the Japanese use. There's a great big bulge underneath, so I don't know if that would be for a radar or something.
It does look like a military plane, though. It has Japanese markings on it, and
I'm sure someone knows more about that.
Numbers.
Please feel free to give us some feedback.
Yeah.
Moving on, Ammo, our good friends at Ammo, a lot of stuff for their April stuff as we go forward. We have what do we start with here? They got magazines. They got all sorts. Oh yes, of course. Remember we covered a couple of months ago how they created a solution box for the U.S. armor. For World War II
era, right?
Okay, so they said they were coming out with some more, so they released a new one for World War II Luftwaffe late fighters. So again, for €75.50, you get an absolute chock full of everything you need, but other than the kit, on how to paint and weather your Luftwaffe.
Oh, there's no kit.
There's no kit.
Okay.
There is some stores that are doing specials. I think our friends
double them up.
I think our friends at Raptor. I saw that at their webpage. They're doing something. They have 4 different kits from the era. So it starts off with a solution book, which is again ammo quality, fully illustrated.
Those are really worth looking at.
Yep. But they also show all the different products and how they do it. So all the different products come in a box. I'm not going to go through them all because there's about 2 dozen here, but everything from primer, paint, varnishes.
You have the guide, of course.
Yep,
how to use it.
Brushes, filters, oil pens.
Looks like you get also like the MIG pigments to do the weathering.
Yep. So basically everything you need. So if you were, let's say, particularly if you didn't have a lot already, and you're thinking, okay, I built modern stuff, and I want to try some German stuff. This could be everything you need in one box.
Yeah, it looks like a great idea.
Yeah, and the pricing isn't much more than if you bought them separately anyway, but plus you get the bonus guidebook. So
that's kind of, you start looking through that, you get ideas about how you can apply techniques to any project.
The books are very good.
Yeah, they really are.
The books have gotten good reviews. Okay, moving on. Speaking of books, they have one on how to paint Israeli Defense Force tanks. Their weathering guide. Mm-hmm. A lot of different tanks the Israelis have used, so it's kind of neat to see some of these desert schemes. Building myself, I've built some German armor with desert, so it's kind of neat to see some of the techniques there. Mm-hmm. A lot of new releases of Israeli Defense Force vehicles, and we've actually covered off quite a few of them. But again, beautifully illustrated. With obviously they're using the MIG products or the ammo products. It is MIG. To show how they can do it. But again, these techniques can apply to whatever you use. And of course, to back those up, they've got the Israeli Conflicts Pigment Collection. 5 high quality filters, €18. And then you've got the weathering, their magazine on the weathering. I might want to pick up this one, and maybe your dad might too. It's all about trains. Weathering trains.
Yeah.
So model trains. A lot of it's European based, but again, all sorts of cool ideas. There's a lot of model train, actual plastic model kits. I picked one up at the show, if we recall.
Yeah, which is really
but
interesting.
There's also, this would also work for model railroad stuff. As some of you regular listeners know, Anthony's dad's big into model trains.
Yes, he is a lover of the trains.
Yep. So again, there's some cool stuff here with cool weathering and resting techniques.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
there's so many opportunities in HO model railroading to do play with weathering and rust and all that stuff.
Right. And then just finishing up, looks like they've got Russian World War II bomber colors, 4-color set there. They've got and a kit. They're coming out with a T-54B mid-production, 1/72nd scale. This is actually on sale until the 30th for €15 if you buy it from MIG.
Wow, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, for the 1/72nd with photo etch.
It's an amazing price.
Yeah,
so €15 is about 30 The 35
1.5 Canadian. Multiply it by 1.5. €1 is $1.50 roughly Canadian. So
$40 or something.
Yeah, that's not bad. And again, it's a smaller kit, but it looks really good.
So that's a Vietnam era. Looks like,
yeah, Cold War, mid 50s, early 60s. Yeah, definitely. Middle East countries still use them for years.
Yeah.
But the photo etch looks absolutely amazing. Again, it's tiny. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, into production in 57. 100 millimeter main gun, a lot of different night fighting equipment, a lot of different countries over the years. In fact, the T-54 was the one photographed in 75, crashing through the gates of the presidential palace in Saigon.
Yeah.
For the Vietnam War. So
72nd though, I don't know.
Yeah, I know, but some people
too hard. But it's a big kit. It's in the budget, right? And it's It's not a huge space eater.
Yeah,
so.
No, they've spent the time.
It does look awesome. I didn't realize it was 72nd until
I know.
a minute ago.
Don't realize, yeah. Okay, moving on to Ryefield models. I'm pointing out this one. This is another Tiger, early production, 135th. But what's neat about this has clear parts, so it has a full interior. But and again, I'm pointing to the Facebook link because I couldn't find it on the main site. But if you look at some of the pictures on the Facebook link, you'll, for example, see the turret with the full interior. But the actual main exterior of the turret's all in clear parts.
That is really neat.
And I wish more manufacturers would do this, because you see all these kits that have these amazing interiors, and then unless you specifically open up a hatch or custom build something to blow it up and out,
it's even hard. It's even opening all the hatches. Sometimes you really wonder. Oh, I spent all this time.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's like with it's like with aircraft. When we talk about the Hong Kong models Lancaster, they produced a special edition with half of.
Can't see anything in there.
Clear sprue. Well, with the clear side, right? Remember, it has the clear fuselage.
Oh yeah, the clear side. If you're going to do that.
Yeah, and I wish more companies would do that. So I just wanted to point this one out. This is
it's a neat idea.
Yeah, if this is something you wanted to build as an interior, you really want to, this might be worth looking at. So definitely check that out. It's just an initial release. Our friends, again, sticking on the armor front, Ming's releasing one of their new Sherman models, which people have been talking about, in 1/35th scale. I put two links on here because I found the original website, but then we've also got a little. Our friends at Modeling News has a nice little background all about it. So this was the original, M4A3, the 76 millimeter gun. There's probably it's probably the first of several. They've already said they want to do a bit more. 206 millimeters long, 90 millimeter tall. This has individual links, 1,190 parts.
Wow.
I think that's individual track links. I would.
You would have to be for sure.
Yeah, either that or you're putting in the bolts, in individually. If anyone wants to do that, be my guest. That won't be me. Looks like a nice metal cable, metal turret. Comes with the first edition will have a metal barrel, so keep that in mind. Photo etch, stuff like that. It's a nice looking kit. Again, just based on the
where was this? What era or theater was this
World
from?
War II, and it served everywhere. It was
the
standard U.S. medium tank. This was like the equivalent of the Panther.
The M4A3
yeah, this was
the
early model.
One?
This was the early model.
Oh,
and
okay.
Then it rapidly would find itself outgunned and whatnot. There's all different ones. I'm not going to pretend to be a expert on
there's a lot of variations. Like I don't recognize the huge barrel.
Yeah, so it might be a slightly upgraded barrel on this. Because eventually they built, like the British did one. The British did the Firefly.
Yes.
It had
the Easy 8.
17-pounder, the Easy 8.
Yeah, lots of different versions.
But the basic one, was this. And I guess they feel there's obviously, just like Panther and Tiger fans, I know there's a lot of people that enjoy building Sherman. So this
it's just an iconic tank, right?
This is an all new version. So, okay, moving on to our friends at Hasegawa and continuing their tradition of producing some pretty cool things. This is a harvester combine, the Yanmar Combine, 1/35th scale. They don't have a release date yet, but again, it's just based on some of their other stuff. Remember,
it's so cool.
Remember they have their construction equipment they came out with not too long ago.
The construction crew kits, A and B. And these are neat vehicles too. I always driving in the country sometimes, and you see something, and it's like, wow, they're huge, they're amazing. You drive by like a combine or those big tractors, and those are really expensive.
also see
high tech machines.
Can you imagine some of the sci-fi scratch builders? When you look at this, there's some good possibilities.
Oh yeah. I
nightmare
always think it's already
Yeah.
science fiction come to life, right?
It is. So yeah, this apparently it's a fairly. Again, I don't know about it. It looks very futuristic looking. I'll say that. So again, that will be an interesting one from our friends at Hasegawa. A couple other things they've reissued. Now this one excites me because this one's always been kind of on my. At some point, I want to build. This is the Voyager 2 space probe. So they've reissued this kit, and I always remember this because you can get the kit, and they also had a great little photo etch set for it.
And the original was Hasegawa?
The original was Hasegawa. God, it's got to be at least 10 or 12 years old.
Oh, so it just disappeared, eh?
Yeah, so it looks like they're reissuing it to April 25th, but they're also including the Golden Record. This was a thing they attached to it that had like the sounds of Earth, and also some pictograms. So if it ever was seen by aliens, they'd know which way to come to invade us.
Yeah.
So yeah, apparently the Golden Record in stand is 1/6, and then it says here the jacket of the Golden Record is 1/48 and 1/12. So I'm not sure what that corresponds to. The kit itself is 1/48.
I wonder if they just given you a couple different prints of
that's what it looks like. Versions. Yeah, but I know the original because it comes with a really attractive stand. Like when you look at one of the pictures, really attractive stand. Oh, there's the Golden Record in terms of what it looks like. And again, you could buy a photo etch set, which would really make it nice, but it was a lot of folding. I'd love this just for my book, on a bookshelf.
Yeah.
Because the Voyager probes were just so amazing on what they did.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool next one, I'm just going to point out this one from Hasegawa because I saw it and it was from the like a Gundam or something. This is the VF-31 from Macross, the movie version. This is kind of cool. Oh no, sorry, I jumped ahead. We moved that one. Sorry, let me come back to that one. We're gonna go to Airfix first. Sorry. See, even I make mistakes.
The
Buccaneer, yeah, 172nd. A lot of people have been waiting for this. This thing was such an amazing aircraft. I know when it came out because it could go so low and so fast. When they used to do exercises against the U.S. planes couldn't see it. Like they just couldn't find it on radar because it was so low. Absolutely amazing aircraft. I know a lot of British aircraft fans have been wanting this to be released.
Very cool.
So yeah, this is coming soon. So they've got the 3D section. We've talked about this briefly before, but I had to mention because this one's 72nd. This one's going on my I gotta get list.
That's the dual boom.
Yep.
Yeah, that's an awesome
the one
plane.
with the air brakes and exactly. Just both served in both RAF and Fleet Air Arms Service. So pretty cool. Some other stuff, just Airfix releasing. They're getting ready to release their 135 scale tanks. We talked about those. They're Academy reboxes. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. The link I gave is their latest kind of newsletter. They show a couple of pictures of the older molds of the Buccaneer.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like good.
So the Buccaneer's getting a new treatment, or is it
brand new
just a
molding? Brand new molding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So people are really looking forward to that. The Tiger, as I said, the Tiger 135th scale. A couple of different nice schemes there. Again, it's the Academy, so I'm sure listeners can tell me or can tell us what the Academy's like. There is the Panzerkampfwagen 35T. That was a Czech-built tank that the Germans took over and acquired, a little light reconnaissance tank and a bunch of different schemes. And of course the venerable M3 Stuart light tank known as the Honey Cruise. Light and fast little tank. It was a U.S. design, but the British used it first. Particularly, again, in North Africa and stuff like that.
Your namesake tank.
My namesake tank. I built a 72nd scale on Matchbox when I was a kid.
Oh, that might deserve a revisit with a 35th scale one.
In that scale, it's not a bad size. And I do like the look of it. I'm not normally a big... it's funny, I'm not normally a big fan of... I may get lynched here. I'm not normally a big fan of American Armory. Sherman doesn't really do anything for me. I built it. I built one. Same thing with the Lee
further than
Grant.
I'll ever get.
Yeah, but something about this one, it's kind of cool, just the way it looks. Very spindly and so it's kind of cool. So that'll be again, Airfix is still bringing out some pretty cool things. What else do we have? Ammo news from Ammo. So Ammo's got a new airbrush out. They have one already. This is called the Air Viper. Now, I've been trying to look around it and see who actually makes it. I think it's like their other one. I think it's a Badger. I haven't been able to confirm it. Yeah, I think it's a rebranded Badger. So
interesting.
Yeah, we'll see.
No, Badger itself has like a wide, or maybe most producers do.
They got a wide range.
From beginner to kind of more advanced
and
brushes.
I use Badger. I have 3.
Yeah.
They're very good. So again, they've got some different stuff. They got their weathering aircraft magazine coming out. Just going back to the Viper for a second. 129 euros. It has a 0.2 millimeter needle.
You need that. That's
very
good.
super fine work. But yeah, it looks like a Badger. It really does. It almost looks like the Sotar.
Does the Sotar have that flat cup?
Yeah,
like
the difference is the Sotar comes in black. Now, this one actually has a lid for the cup, which I wouldn't mind. It looks like, if you look at it there, the one picture, the side view, it almost looks like a lid there.
You should have a lid as kind of
the Sotar, these
feature.
fine ones is designed for, like, you're not going to be swinging it around a lot, right? Very fine, close-in work, so it doesn't really bother me.
Oh, I guess I never use my lid anyway.
Well, there you go. I use mine all the time. And also, they've got another one on their modeling school series about painting realistic trains. So again, another book about railway modeling, not just weathering, but some more different ones there. And then their Weathering Aircraft magazine, they're covering winter this time. It's the theme.
Cool.
So all different sort of things, because as you know, it's tough to paint in white sometimes.
Yeah, white it's definitely challenging. Yep. I've done nothing but white for the past.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you've been doing a lot of white, haven't you?
And it's come along really well. But it was one of those things wasn't sure. I was given a lot of advice, like you'll just
People
know when it's done.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, I know.
Then I got there. I was like, oh. Yes, there it is. It's done.
It's
perfect.
Exactly.
I like it. I'm happy.
The General Weathering magazine. We're up to issue 26. Modern Warfare. So all different things about that.
Wow.
They're focusing on the T-72 tank, a Puma infantry fighting vehicle, an M9 armored bulldozer, and the CB-90 fast attack boat. But there's obviously quite a few in there.
Yeah.
Their magazines are great.
I gotta say, I've never seen one, but they look incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wouldn't know where to start getting them.
Now they do have. Remember, we were just talking about the solution kits they had.
Yeah.
Because this is some additional late breaking. This is where I found this link. They've now published just the solution book only for the American armor.
Okay.
For World War II. So that's about almost 10 euros. That was basically. So if you already have the stuff but you just want the book, you can now purchase it.
Yeah.
They also have a sci-fi catalog now, €2.
Because they sell like a line, like a paint range, like kind of geared. It's just all your regular paint colors, but they just sort of.
But they went with the modeling kit. They put it all together.
They brand it so that to tie in those other people, maybe.
Yeah. So they've also got a separate sci-fi catalog now for all their kits and stuff and all their kits and
do they have kits?
Techniques,
or is it?
Sorry, just their
paint lines.
Paints for kits. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I think they've taken all the usual colors, but given them
futuristic names.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So again, I'm looking here. They've got like some things with how to paint Galactica, Slave One, some Gundams, some mechs. So again, they give you some ideas of. They have built-in like paint sets designed for those.
Yes.
So
yeah.
That was some late breaking stuff there, and then let's go into Masterbox. They got some new figures. These guys are quite. I actually saw some of the actual figures at Heritage Con. I was very impressed with some of these figures that these guys do.
The Masterbox.
Yeah, so
they're
these
awesome.
ones are. This month they're featuring 4 or 5 new releases. Civil War. We've got 5 different kits for that, for the Union, for the Union side. And I think we also have some Confederate ones. So again, just some amazing. One for Brigadier General, one for that, and then we also have. I'm just looking here. What else they have? How about the founding emperor of China's Ming Dynasty at the Battle of Nanjing? 1356, and Anthony's just gone into the vaults of, like I said, Goodman models.
The mini stash I have.
He's got the mini stash, and this one's called "Here is Snickers, Help Yourself, Please." And this features, looks like in Afghanistan.
Yeah, I can't figure if they're American or British troops.
It could be either. Yeah,
they're like tankers.
Yeah, tankers giving. There's a mom with 4 children. She's holding one. There's 3 other ones and a dog, and the troops are giving them some Snickers bars.
Yeah, I love this. I had to buy that immediately.
They do a lot of really amazing theme stuff.
Yeah, and so it's quite. The molds look really crisp and quite detailed as well. And
how about if you had to paint the Empire?
Oh my goodness.
Emperor of China. Look at the scheme on that.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Again, the painting guys, they love this sort of stuff. So
it's very interesting.
Yep, some other new stuff there. Moving on. Let me just see here as we go through our list. I told you we had a lot today, folks.
It's just a mountain today.
It was an absolute mountain. Okay, then we have some new AMT releases because we never seem to do enough car stuff.
Well, we should rectify that right now.
We should. We're going to rectify just a couple of things. Although not everything's a car here because AMT's released a Romulan Warbird, one of the Romulan Warbirds from Next Gen.
Cool.
From Star Trek, but also a 59 Chrysler Imperial, AMT 1977 Ford Cruising Van, back when everyone had the vans and the shag carpet.
Mm-hmm.
And how about a AMT Vintage Coca-Cola Classic Santa Claus? These are decals for your big rig.
Those are cool.
Yeah, they look kind of cool. So yeah, a few new things coming there. They've got the garage accessory set, a pre-built Space 1999 Rescue Eagle, a AMT DS9 Rio Grande the Runabout, 1/72 scale. And and this, just to brown things up, the AMT 1960 Chevy Custom Fleet Side pickup with the go-kart. Actually, we covered that one before.
Yeah, the fleet sides are awesome.
Yeah, they're pretty attractive.
I would like one of those trucks.
So yeah, we always like hearing more. So if you guys know about, any of our listeners want to give us some insights into some of the new car stuff, it's something Anthony and I don't really build a lot.
Oh man, these are really cool. I do. Yeah. I only have one car in my mini stash, but there's some awesome looking, the Piranha Drag Team and the 63 Corvette. Oh, those look awesome.
Right. Okay, then from Polar Lights, I love this on their website. Polar Lights Model Kit. And this is the title of the post. Another stupid idea from Polar Lights. Polar Lights is bringing you, and they had to say, yes, this is a real release because they actually announced it on April Fool's Day.
Oh.
So everyone thought they were kidding. And when I tell you why, you'll know. From the movie, labeled one of the worst, never mind sci-fi, but one of the baddest, worst movies in the world ever.
Of all time, in all film history.
Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Yeah.
Yes, folks, it's coming. The bizarrely authentic scale model of the flying saucer from Plan 9 from Outer Space. Look at those amazing screenshots from the movie, those amazing special effects. Feast your eyes on all these features. It even comes with a clear dome that you can show the aliens inside.
Although in their demo pics, it's just like,
yeah,
they've got it solid,
but they give you the option. You can actually
leave it
show
undone.
the little evil alien with the giant green head. There's also optional doodads, I quote, as they call
doodads, yeah, you need those.
Are they rocket propulsion engines or electrode guns? We don't know, but they're in the box. You even get a Conquered Planet base.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah, so yeah, you get a water slide decal sheet, perfect for sticking somewhere. I love this. They really had some fun with this. So, again, for you sci-fi fans, I can see some scratch building opportunities too.
Yeah.
You can probably find it on YouTube. Probably.
Yeah, for sure.
I remember watching it once just for kick. I don't remember how I came across it. It was a rental or a 2-for-1 or something. And
late night TV or something.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure this is the one where they dressed up the guy with the gorilla.
Yeah.
In the gorilla suit and then put a space helmet on.
Such a long time ago.
Oh, it was bad. It was so bad. But yeah.
It's not a bad design though, whoever came up with that.
Yeah, but again, our friends at Polar Lights, they think there's a market for it, so
sure.
Hey, good for them.
Good.
Okay, let's move on now. We are getting into some of your stuff. So we have the Amusing Hobby.
Yeah,
What's this from Amusing Hobbies?
I just picked this out. I kind of
Oh, that's
enjoy
cool.
the Lift 46 kind
Yeah,
of, you know, the
yeah.
design, the napkin design jets and that type of stuff. And like I said, the only good Nazi is a fictional Nazi, right?
That's right.
But so that they this Amusing Hobbies, which I've never built a kit of, but they're coming out for a June release, and 1:48 scale Focke-Wulf Trabe Flugel, and I thought that looked quite interesting. It's 33.62 Canadian. It's kind of a neat, like it's got weird like three
props. Yeah,
props
it was
with
rocket
jet
propelled. Yeah. So the idea behind this is because I remember I first discovered the earlier model of this. It's in one of my video games, IL-46.
Oh, okay.
Where originally same idea, but it actually lands on its tail.
Yes.
So it takes off and lands on its tail, and the idea was, these rocket engines.
A VTOL
Was
OL fighter,
would
right?
basically do enough, and the idea was like an interceptor. Far as I knew, I don't think anything of this ever
I thought
flew.
they had certain sort of test prototypes, but they never got it to take
they had
off.
a test prototype, the one I remember in my IL-46.
Like
and again,
fell
someone
over
correct me, but it was two engines at the top and the bottom.
Yeah.
But I just. Yeah.
But like the stuff they were doing at the end of the war was really just groundbreaking.
doing
Like
some
the
cutting-edge stuff,
like the things that were real, like the Comet, the Salamander,
Yep.
right? Obviously the
very early,
ME-262.
very, very cutting edge.
Yeah, the Horton, like they're very interesting. You know, all the Nazi stuff aside, really interesting aircraft.
Yeah, but it just, but again, they were rushed. They were, just
poorly. They didn't
poorly
have all
designed. Looks like it was started.
pilots and.
I'm just looking up the Wikipedia entry here. It was designed in '44. Designed to be an interceptor.
So it goes straight up and
Straight
attack
up,
a
shoot
bomber.
down the bombers, and yeah.
Did the pilot have to eject, or were they hoping
No,
to
it was
recover
something
them?
to land. It only reached wind tunnel testing, so
Oh, okay.
it was a concept only. So yeah.
Protypical. Well,
Yeah,
kind of an
yeah.
interesting subject and something
Yeah, you
different.
have to remember though, some of those late Luftwaffe stuff, they were cutting edge. But for example, the Comet was incredibly dangerous
Oh yeah.
because the
Yeah.
Comet used two types of fuel that when mixed together was potentially explosive. And the problem is this thing would use all its fuels up in the air, and then you would glide
Glide
back.
it down.
Well, if there was a little bit of fuel left in either tank, and you were a bit bumpy with it,
You would.
kaboom!
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard something how they had different crews that handled each
They had
fuel
to,
type,
'cause
and
if
they had to
literally-
sign off.
If the fuels
they were
either
not allowed
looked
at
in
the
the
same
same
time.
direction of each other,
Yeah.
they'd probably blow up.
It's insanity.
Just kind of crazy stuff. So what else do we have from the Gundam world? We got.
I
looks like
didn't. No,
Hasegawa.
I didn't find any interesting new Gundams. I'm sure they're out
Okay,
there, but
yep.
there's nothing I love more than Gundam than some Macross
That's
though.
right,
And
yeah.
Hasegawa, I think, have made awesome Valkyrie and Macross models.
Mm-hmm.
They are doing a huge batch of reissues.
Right.
So if our listeners are not familiar, but I'm sure you've seen this other companies, they put out kits for a couple years, brand new release, and then they just go away, or they're limited edition, and so they just run through their roster of kits, and then
Yep.
they produce them for a while. They take a break, and then maybe they get reissued, right? So. Some of these are classic, awesome, really great
they're
kits, great
recognized.
designs, and they're back out. So if you've been looking for some of the early stuff, or for the first couple of years that they're producing the Macross license, you might have a chance to get them. So some of the ones we picked out were the YF-19 fighter, the VF-22S, the Max type from Macross 7, the VE-11 Thunderseeker.
This is when I remember we were talking.
The
pre-show,
Thunderseeker is
like the
awesome.
UX one,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, that's a
Yes,
really neat one. Night
exactly.
Stalkers, and some of those kits were like the Night Stalkers AWAC plane and the VF-19A Ravens. Those were like limited, so they were quite.
Right.
I think I had both of those kits. I ended up passing them along, but they were out just for a short amount of time,
Yeah.
and then gone, right?
Yeah.
And they were often schemes that maybe came from video games or some other like less common.
I remember the Night Stalker one because again, it's got that cool skull and crossbones.
Yeah, right on the radome.
On the radome.
top. Yeah,
Yes.
very cool.
And we are now being joined by the official Goodman Model Studio cat.
Oh yes.
Which one's this?
This is Mr. Sparkles.
This is Mr. Sparkles, who's all in black, and I'll try and get a picture later. But Mr. Sparkles is making sure we're staying in
he
line.
is the official Goodman Models.
Yes.
pet.
Exactly. As he looks at us here, he's probably looking at me going, "You've been around cats." Because I have two at home. There we go. So we got a picture of. We're getting a picture of him getting a scritch from Anthony.
He often sits right on my shoulders as I'm kind of hunched over.
Oh, that's awesome.
Doing, photo etch or...
You know what? Mine are pretty well trained. They will occasionally get on the bench, but they don't seem to when I'm modeling. So that's kind of good.
Yeah.
They'll sit behind me, and
I can't keep them off.
I'll hear them snoring. No, it's funny. I'm lucky. When I'm modeling, they haven't seemed to.
Yeah.
And maybe it's the glue smell.
Actually, I
that puts
think
them off.
you're in his chair, actually.
Oh,
Maybe
that's why. Is that why I'm getting a look? I'm sorry. All right. Well, we're almost wrapped up. So,
there was
Mr. Sparkles.
There was one
looking-
more interesting Macross release that is a new one. I think you picked this one out.
Yeah, the VF31, Siegfried Freya, VN color from the movie version Macross. It's just, I like the VF31, and it's a pretty bright scheme.
And I want to say that is from Macross Delta.
Yeah, it's actually Macross Delta the movie.
Which was
I just clicked on the box.
So that was the most current series.
Right.
And so there are still a lot of newer kits and releases coming out. Yeah, they're very like a weird kind of swept wing, but Delta.
The Delta wing.
Really
and,
interesting.
Yeah.
So that'll be a really
Exactly.
nice. That'll be a beautiful kit. Hasegawa's just done an amazing job with the Valkyrie and the other Macross. I guess they're all really Valkyries.
Yeah, they are.
Different versions.
So when did Macross Delta come out? Is that fairly new?
Yeah, within the last couple of years.
Okay.
There was a TV series.
Was there? Okay.
To be honest with you, I didn't get through it.
That's all right.
But very popular. Tons of model kit releases. It was. I think it was well received by fans.
Yeah. I like the color on this one. This
Yeah.
is pretty. And again, it's a badass looking aircraft.
Yeah,
Almost like the
I've noticed
VF31.
that they often do there'll be a TV series and there'll be an accompanying movie version, like
Okay.
theatrical release and all.
Okay.
And they often do the planes and they'll take the scheme and then kind of really hyper colorize them and make them really
exactly.
flashy.
Yeah, and again, there's obviously a market for it, and you
Yeah.
can make it what you want.
It's a huge property.
Exactly. Okay, we're going to wrap up our What's New with What's Hot at ScaleMates.
Let's do it.
Not a lot of changes since last time. The Edouard Tornado obviously is very popular. A lot of people talking about the Academy, the AH-1Z and 135th.
The Sharp
Ming's,
Mouth, yeah.
You notice Ming Sherman is there.
Wow. So people are very pumped about that.
Oh, people are very pumped about that. Border Models looks like they have a Panzer IV coming out in a G model, mid to late. Looks like a 2-in-1. Oh yeah, and I should have mentioned this earlier because we're Canadian here. After all. The Canadian
I'm looking
Cruiser.
at that too.
Yeah, it's a variation on the Sherman. Bronco's coming out with one. I saw it mentioned somewhere else. I didn't quite clue in. So that's an early
Canadian
production.
Cruiser Tank Ram Mark II early production.
So yeah, that looks like we'll have to look up that a bit more.
Bronco makes awesome,
Yep.
really well done
Yep.
model kits.
Oh, and the cat has now joined us on the table, so that's fine. The Leopard, the Black Hawk. Again, most of the ones we've already covered before. I don't see anything else. Oh, here's that sword, that Sky Raider. So people are talking about that. The Electronic Warfare Sky Raider further down.
Oh yeah, the Leopard 2's up there.
Yep, the Harvester Combine. See, at least we're picking all the right things to cover. Some interesting.
Sky Raider, yeah.
Yep, some interesting ones. Airfix's re-release of the Phantom based off last year. This is the Royal Air Force One. All in all, a lot of new stuff. So again, we keep saying there's the hobby's still well in demand, and away we go. I'm now watching the cat do what Anthony described.
Riding on my shoulders.
Right on her shoulders. So that's pretty awesome. So yeah, all sorts of things. How about a Mercury capsule with the Atlas booster? From the original 7. All sorts of stuff. So I definitely invite you to check out scalemates.com because it's always a really good place to see where some of the new kits are coming from. So that's really good.
Find out what people are talking about and you can join in the conversation yourself.
Exactly. So that's basically our What's New. We're going to briefly talk about our good friends at Goodman Models. We kind of briefly covered about the website. Anything else been happening? Again, we know the individual sanding blocks got really good attention at the Heritage Con show. So anything else exciting just other than getting the website ready?
I'm just building up some stock. Section 8 is about to get restocked, and
That's right.
a couple other places, and I'm going to be up at Torcan
Yes.
which is the Toronto IPMS local show.
Okay.
I think I'll be working alongside Flexifile, doing a demo there as
Awesome.
well with those guys. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, your demo was really good.
Yeah.
I managed to watch a bit of that when we were
had
running around.
We had a really great time. Paul is just a wonderful guy, and he's so funny. He's so knowledgeable. We did demos side by side,
Right.
which was quite fun. And we were talking. We ended up like sort of cross like he was doing his touch and flow system, which
Right.
I love.
You love that.
Do you
yeah,
have
I know.
that?
Yeah, I do. I do,
Yeah.
and I do use it occasionally.
Yeah, you know what? I had bought it a long time ago, and I totally just broke it right away.
Yeah.
I destroyed it, and then I bought a second one. Or no, you know what? Paul was gracious. He gave me one.
Oh, that's
And then I
nice.
took it home and destroyed it.
Okay.
And then I realized I was not using the right glue, and I figured
Yeah.
it out anyway.
Yeah.
But I bought another one, and I was really nervous to touch it, so I hadn't really done much with it.
Right.
And then I saw him do the demo, and I was,
Yeah, it's one of those things once you realize, and again, like I noticed
Yeah.
you have the stand for
Yes.
the system and all that,
Yeah.
and that's a must.
it absolutely just keeps
Yeah.
it the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and their glue is absolutely amazing.
It is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my new go-to glue for
Yep.
sure. And
Yep, that's I do find it smell wise strong. So with my wife, she doesn't like it as much, but I do use it on occasion
yeah,
as we push the poor kitty back off the bench.
he
Yes,
does. He comes up there.
that's
he
all
just
right. That's
walks
all
all
right.
over the
That's
models.
our unofficial mascot.
Yes.
So yeah, okay. So, but as we said, we do have the website. We just
Yeah.
started a splash page tonight, but we're going to be
Yep.
able to.
It's
You're going to be
coming.
able to. You're going to be. It's coming. You're going
That's
to be
the
able
biggest
to order
news.
your stuff. Well, I
Yeah.
think part of the other thing is you're going to be able to have a gallery there of your.
Yeah, I've
of your
always
builds.
wanted a proper gallery, and so I'm going to have that as a little subsection,
gonna be
and
cool.
we're going to take some cool photos.
We are
just proper photos.
We are. We're going to do some videos, and
Yeah.
we're going to see Anthony's hands in action.
Yeah, so I mean, I tried doing some really rudimentary demo videos before, and you can see them on my YouTube page
Yep.
and my Facebook. But with Stuart's help, I think I'll have a lot more
We'll see
professional. cover
we'll
some
see
more
what we
topics.
can. We'll see what we can lump out. Definitely.
Yeah, show you some of the magic that you can do with the blocks and how
Exactly.
they can help you with.
So
your,
just remind
products.
folks again where until the web page. Well, you know what? You can send them to the web page now because that sends them to the Facebook page.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
where
It
do
is live.
people have to go?
So if you want to check out the new webpage and just see it in its infancy, it's at goodmanmodels.com, and there's going to be a lot more content coming soon.
And there's a link to the Facebook page
Yes,
at
and
facebook.com.
So yeah, and I've been just sort of busy with Facebook ever since kind of getting rolling, and that's right now. You can still buy the blocks directly from that page, and you can reach out to me. You can post your projects that you're working on my page. I love that. Or I try to post a little bit on there for my personal stuff as well, and I love comments and questions. And if you want to get a set, I would be more than happy to send you one.
Very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool. And it's good value for money. I use them all the time. No word of a lie. They're a very useful tool. It's the box with the super sanding set is always front and center on my bench. If you've looked at some of my videos at blackfire.ca, you'll probably see it there. Okay.
Awesome.
And we thank them for their support as always. Okay, so we don't really have much of a topic, but there is something I had to bring up. So some late breaking news, and I posted this earlier. So as people know, Canada's receiving a bunch of Australian F-18 Hornets.
It's been a big deal in the works for a
Big
while.
deal in the works for a while. So they've started receiving this, but I guess it's been discovered that the Royal Australian Air Force, they were leaving an important piece of kit that we don't really need here on their airframes. It's called a shuru, and you can actually see it at shuru.com.au. It was obviously top secret, the aviation version, because the one on their website only seems to point to one you stick on your car.
Yeah.
And this was designed for, it's like a deer whistle, but I guess a deer whistle on steroids, because for the money they're asking,
Pretty amped up.
I thought it was like a stereo. It basically is designed to protect the vehicle or the aircraft in this case from kangaroos. So I assume the fact that they have them on the Australian F-18s,
It's like an early warning system.
the kangaroos must jump pretty darn high,
Oh yeah.
or the Australians go pretty darn low.
So basically there was some tense negotiations. They're going to be returning them, but they're not going to be able to return them until January 2020. So next January.
That's a national secret. They just let
Yeah,
slip.
hard to believe. Hard to believe. Well, as it turns out, an Australian citizen, this guy's named David Goldfinch. Apparently, he does this podcast, something to do with modeling, called On the Bench or something.
Yeah, I may have.
I think we've heard of him. Yeah. So he's coming to Canada during that time period, as it turns out. So the Canadian military have arranged with the Australian folks to arrange. They're going to put him in his suitcases to take home.
Yeah, box him up.
Box him up, because somehow he's responsible, apparently, for this. Apparently, as well, though, the authorities in Canada, they're promising a really warm welcome, because apparently him and some of the podcasters who are on the bench are a little bit confused about, the Canadian CF-18s have some custom equipment.
Yeah.
So apparently some vicious rumors gone around that one of the pieces of custom equipment is a moose detector.
Yeah.
And then there's also been some sub things about, maybe it detects the maple syrup and all that. Well, we don't really need that, because it's actually a secret too, because being naturally Canadian, we can sniff out the maple syrup.
Yeah, I was going to say
naturally.
it's all around.
It's all around anyway.
Already.
So,
it's on every meal.
It's on pretty well in the back.
You don't have to go far.
No, you don't.
Every meal, right? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
We don't need a moose detector for that, because the moose see us coming anyway. So it's not like our moose, unlike their kangaroos, are highly trained to avoid F-18 fighter aircraft when they're going low. So anyway, we included a picture of said device, and so it's a bit of a controversial thing. Okay, for all of you, no, it's not April Fools, and most of the above was absolute bollocks. This is for people who listen to both our podcasts. David and the gang at On the Bench, Ian and Julian, have been lately a couple times. They've been bringing up F-18s, and the Canadian F-18s do have some extra equipment. We have a searchlight actually on the port side of the aircraft used for aircraft identification. It is a unique thing. It's the same thing as we paint a fake canopy underneath.
Yeah, that's a uniquely Canadian
so there is a couple
scheme.
of things, and they will be outfitted, but apparently our Australian compatriots, shall we say, have gone a little bit overboard. So we felt, in the sake of good humor, and that we must,
in the spirit of fun.
In the spirit of fun, we must retaliate. Now, David is coming up in January.
Yeah.
He's planned a trip to Canada, and we are hoping to get David and ourselves together, hopefully at the Canadian Warplane Heritage Museum in Hamilton. We'll see if we can do a live interview or a live show.
That'll be a lot of fun.
Or something like that. And that's when he'll get the complete tour on how to find maple syrup and all that. So, no, and we do want to give a shout out to our good friends of On the Bench. They're the other modeling podcast, and they're usually every other week, but they did do a show released today. They've actually done 2 shows this week. And what was it? Modeling with your better half or something? Like
evaluating your
something to do with
relationships?
Relationships and modeling, and I'm sure that means how to bring the latest purchase in the house without getting killed. But no, so we haven't listened to it, but that'll be interesting as well.
Balancing your hobby
There we go.
with your relationships, which is probably
an important thing to do.
good thing to think about, and you never want something that's supposed to be fun to kind of take over your finances or your relationships.
Yeah, apparently they've had a large amount of emails on the subject, so it is their 50th episode.
Yeah, and congrats, guys. That's an awesome
absolutely
watermark.
awesome. So yeah, do check them out. Just do a Google search for On the Bench podcast, and you'll find them there as well.
Yeah, they're great to listen to, and
they're a great bunch of guys.
Yeah.
We bounce things back and forth, and again, we're winding each other up all in good fun. So what's on the bench? I've had a little bit of time. I've got a bit more done on the Mobius Battlestar Pegasus. I did do a bench update to blackfire.ca.
It's looking great. It's all primed
a big
up.
Beast. Yeah,
It's throwing any gray on there or anything yet?
No, there's some gray. So basically, I got the back end, the engine's done. The whole main fuselage now is primed. I still have to put together the flight pods. I previously painted the parts for the flight pods, but there's some decals that have to go in before I put them together. So I think the plan is I'm going to paint the main fuselage, do it all the base, silver metallic colors, and then I'll attach the flight pods, and then I'll do some weathering.
Yeah, you gotta be really gotta be strategic, huh?
Well, it is because the flight pods have decals for the landing bays, and there's a total of 15, 16. So yeah, there is quite a few, and as I said, she is an absolute beast of a.
I
of a
did
kit.
not realize how massive that ship was.
Yep. So now Anthony's just bringing out here what's on his
Yeah,
bench. So yeah, give us a quick.
We usually dial in to do our
Yep.
weekly recording, so we don't often get together live, so you don't really see it.
I don't
haven't
get to
seen
see
your
what's been
Pegasus yet,
happening.
but
Yeah.
I just my so that was my M113 variant, the MIFV, and I don't know, maybe I went down the rabbit hole, but I literally stopped and started on the Aliens APC when we got back from Heritage Con that night.
Right.
And so I've been working on that diligently. I put this one, I sort of put it on hold. I was getting into doing some figures and a little bit of additional sort of gear and kit around it, and but it was coming along really well. Some extra weathering has to happen, and then I was going to do a base with some terrain and that kind of thing.
It looks really
It's
good.
coming along.
Yeah, I'm going to take some pictures of it, and we're going to feature it. We'll put it in the show notes.
It's not done, but it's
it's
maybe 80%.
Yeah, it's
finished,
pretty darn good. Anthony and I are lucky. We're literally, I'd say, a half a kilometer from each other.
yeah, which is very
so it's
convenient.
kind of nice.
Yeah.
So what else? You also, it's been a while since I've been in your shop, and I see some changes.
Yeah, I did. I sort of cleaned up and reorganized a little bit, and I knew Stuart was coming, so I didn't want to be too embarrassed. So the floor was
Don't clean up on my account, mate.
because I do some of the production for the Super Saiyan blocks,
Right.
and then I do my own projects.
Right.
And I'm very lucky. I do have a nice space. It's kind of like a bedroom, like a leftover
yeah, it's
bedroom
great.
in the basement.
It's great, yeah.
And super lucky to have it, and I'm always trying to improve the layout, and I want to build a display case at some point, and
That's good. And
Yeah.
and Mr. Sparkles is happily checking out, inspecting one of your Gundams.
yeah, he's always around.
Right.
He likes
right.
to hang out.
Exactly. And then, of course, you've also been working a bit more on stuff
Yeah.
with the Aliens ATC.
So I've been trying to do this thing as a quick build.
Yep.
But of course, I just can't leave it alone. So
You were waiting for it for a while, so
yeah. So
We
this
have
is
to
what I
give-
built as a
Yep.
kid. I
Yep.
probably slammed it together really
Yep.
terribly.
Yep.
And so this time around, did we talk about how this design, if you look it up, I don't know if it's fans or if it's like
Yep.
canon, but you can see the interior layout, like a diagram or schematics.
Right.
And no one thought to put an engine
in because the
or
original.
like gas tanks.
Well, because people don't realize, fans of the movie do. People don't realize that the interior of this thing was actually a studio set. It was
Yeah.
never actually built. The
Yeah.
vehicle is actually based on an aircraft towing tug.
Yes, yeah.
So they obviously just slapped some stuff on. But yeah, when you look at the interior, you go, "Is this like a TARDIS? It looks bigger on the inside than it does on the outside."
They had actors standing at full height,
Yeah.
but if you step outside, it's lower. It's
Yeah,
sort of a wedge-shaped
exactly.
vehicle.
Yep.
It's lower than the people, but it's just part of the movie magic.
It
But
is.
it's such a clever, interesting design.
Yep.
But so I decided to open up the side grills and then put some engine detail
Yeah,
in.
I took some shots of that.
Yeah.
We're gonna feature that. And
And-
you're gonna light it up too, aren't you?
I'm gonna light it up, and I was mentioning before, like I've lit every kit, but I've only
Yeah.
done a single circuit. So now I'm trying to just get my head wrapped around the basics of
Yep.
doing multiple, doing circuits and parallel
Yeah.
series.
Now, are
and-
those going to run on batteries, or are you going to have like an external battery
I like to
box?
do batteries that are hidden away. I
Right,
think it should
okay.
be in the model or in
Yep.
the base where you
Yep,
can't.
somewhere in the base, maybe.
It, it takes me out of it when I see, like, you'll see a beautiful like a
Kit,
Star
metal
Trek
wire.
ship,
Yeah.
and then there's like a plug hanging out,
Yeah,
and then you got to
yeah.
be next to the wall. It's like
Yeah.
no, it's got to
Yeah,
be all
yeah.
set up,
Okay,
hidden away.
very cool.
Yeah, so I started doing the wiring, and I'm trying to. I'm touching base with some of our more electronically inclined friends like Murray Press,
Yeah,
and
we get things.
Yeah.
What some of the people do with
Getting
these
some advice.
Arduinos and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Now that's a whole other aspect.
I'm just trying to
of the
get
hobby.
6 bulbs to light up.
Right. But again, you look at like some of these lighting kits
It's
people do for the
amazing.
starships,
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
And it's wonderful that they're coming put together for you.
Yeah.
So if you don't have any experience, you can get into it.
Well, that's what I like about these
Jump off.
these Revell new releases.
Yeah, It's great.
it's a neat little way to get people interested because then
Yeah.
you can expand from there.
Even
So,
trying to figure this out, I've had to like do a lot of reading and
Yep.
ask a lot of like rudimentary questions. It is slowing me a little bit down,
yeah, that's all right.
but I think it's gonna be worth it to do because it's kind of a plain subject, so it
Yep.
needs a little dressing up. And I also found this is a kind of a vintage kit now,
Yep.
from '89
Yeah.
or something
Yeah,
like that,
yeah.
and it didn't want to go together well.
Wow.
I did have to
A little bit of work.
get out a lot of plastic stock.
A little bit of work
card
with
and-
the sanding blocks and some custom stuff
Oh,
you've
yeah.
done. And
Yeah, I used the blocks
it's
a lot
looking
on
it's
this.
looking really, really nice.
But just to get that front wedge window,
Let's have a look here. So we'll show you again. I'm going to take a picture of
pop it
this.
in.
Yeah.
to get these pieces all to work, there was big gaps everywhere. They didn't want to go, so I kind of had to really use a lot of sheet stock and kind of make it
Right.
make it fit, especially the window frame. Like I'll still have
Right.
to trim that
Yep.
up, but
Yep.
it wasn't too bad. And the super sanding blocks actually, that's why
That's why they
came around, was that
that's
you
why
need
they
to
work. Yeah.
make these planes work out, and you need to sort of shave plastic down in a uniform way.
Exactly. So yeah,
and make things fit.
that's what makes them really work. So there we
Yeah.
go.
There's a lot of extra, white plastic in this kit, but I think it'll be fun. It's still gonna be a really quick.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna put these up as a gallery. I think because it's
Yeah,
kind
awesome.
of neat to see. And again, we always like to have more content on our webpage. So
Yes, I am gonna post some more work in progress shots.
yeah, we're gonna do that on the Facebook page. We'll post a few of these as well. So, all right. So
Yeah.
I think we are pretty well done for the week. We had so much news, and then we had that highly controversial Australian news.
Surprised they didn't keep
Sad.
those and reverse engineer them, making
Well-
the poutine spotters.
Poutine spotters. There we go. Yeah, but again, we're Canadian. We don't need assistance to spot a good bowl of poutine.
Yeah, we just
You
gotta
know?
pop over to the next province and we get
That's
the
right.
best poutine
That's
you've ever
right.
had.
That's right. Exactly. We'll have to introduce David to some when
Yeah.
he's here. If he didn't get
The cheese has to
advantage.
squeak.
This cheese has to squeak, definitely. And when you can add whatever you want to it. So, all right. So that's it for this week. So as usual, don't forget to subscribe and let us know you have any comments or suggestions at scalemodelpodcast@gmail.com. We record roughly bi-weekly. It's available where your better podcasts are found, including iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. We have a Facebook page, and we also have our own website at scalemodelpodcast.com. So, for this week, for Mr. Sparkles the cat,
Mr. Sparkles the cat.
Mr. Sparkles the
Model
cat, the official mascot of the Scale Model Podcast, my name is Stuart Clark.
This is Anthony Goodman.
Thank you, and be well.